live. It's connecting. It's happening. I feel like this is like an entryway like into the internet. Like as I'm watching these streams like connect, I'm like, we're about to be in the internet. Some like Matrix or something.
Yeah, getting plugged
Oh,
into the matrix. Yeah, it's weird that life is so different now than it was 20 years ago. And imagine how different it's going to be in 20 more years with what's happening with artificial intelligence and quantum
yeah.
computing. Oh my
Oh
goodness.
my gosh. Yeah, the
Yeah,
quantum
I'm
computing
not
thing
ready.
is crazy. I haven't looked at anything of that recently, but my old job, so this was a year and a half ago. I was looking at a little bit of that, but we are officially live here, Jeff. I think Facebook is taking a second to connect, but we can go ahead and probably just kick it off here.
Let's do it.
So as people are joining, there's not many people in yet, but as they're joining, just let us know where you're tuning in from. And I would
Oh,
say I don't know if this would be interesting to do is to see put like the ages of your if you have kids, put the ages of your kids in. I feel like that would be interesting data for us to kind of look at like who's watching, how old your kids are, because obviously the discussion today is about screen time and our children and how it impacts them. And I'm here with TruPlay, which I'll introduce Jeff here officially in a second. But um, yeah, so I think it'd just be interesting to know. My kids are 12 now, 10 and 2. All their birthdays were in January. So they are definitely in front of screens from time to time. And conversations like this, I feel like have been impactful. Even our home, we actually, Jeff, we got rid of our TV. I know I was talking about it for a while. Our living
oh,
room TV is gone. We are not a screen-free house by any means, but that TV is gone. And we've noticed like our kids reading more and just doing more like physical activities or playing with their toys or whatever from that. And it's been a good change for us.
oh, well,
So
yeah, that's quite a leap. And I heard the
yeah,
3 January birthdays. That's crazy. That's like
it's very
a
crazy.
double win. Like right after Christmas, also, you just make it through Christmas, and then you've got 3 birthdays in January.
Yeah,
I'm
it is.
sorry, Cliff.
No, it's literally the busiest time of year for us every single year. Like
Yeah,
without a doubt, it's just crazy. I
I
see
hear
we have.
you. I have two. My wife's birthday's in January, and my oldest son's birthday is in January also. So I got to kind of deal with that. I
Yeah,
have. Hi everyone. I'm Jeff. I have 3 kids, all boys, ages 11 and 7 and 3. And I always have to
man.
think about it a little bit because they always transition, and I never know is it this one or this one. But yeah,
Yeah,
I got it right. 11, 7 and 3. But my 7-year-old's almost 8, and we're
three boys.
had a crazy last couple of months, and my oldest son is playing baseball now, and his team made the championship game. It's this Saturday, and I'm so
Nice.
excited.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
it's tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, hopefully they get a win.
yeah.
But three boys, man, when I hear you say that, especially at those ages, just knowing like my son is our only boy and he's 2, and I'm just like, he's a wild child.
It's
Like,
different.
yeah.
I apologize to my wife every day. I know she wanted a girl every single time. She wanted a girl, and every single time she was just like jaw dropped in disbelief that it was another boy. And I just apologize to her daily. Every time I
Yeah.
hear the screaming, the yelling, and I just say, I'm sorry. I'm
Sorry,
sorry.
babe.
Just a little longer. We're almost out of it.
That's awesome.
Really. We've been changing
Um,
diapers for, I don't know, 11 years, and we're finally almost down to our I think we are done with diapers, actually, now that the nighttime ones every occasionally. Maybe we'll have.
yeah, like 3-year-old, you're in that potty training
Yeah.
phase. Yeah. Well, Lily is tuning in from Georgia with an almost 3-year-old, so you know exactly what we're talking about, and an 8-month-old. So you have your hands full, Lily. That's a busy. That's just a busy time. 8-month-old and a 3-month-old or a 3-year-old. But glory to God, we got Ginny from Arizona. That's where you're at, right, Jeff?
Yeah, I am. I'm in Mesa, Arizona. It's just east of Phoenix.
Yes, nice, nice, nice. And then, as most people probably know, maybe not, I'm in Florida for now. We're gonna be moving soon. But all right, let's go ahead and jump into things. We'll probably take hopefully only 45 minutes of your time, maybe a little longer. And we are going to, obviously, as it says, talk about how screens are just kind of impacting our kids, how they affect their brains, their eyes, all of that good stuff, and then also talk about some of the positive sides of screen time, and then get into. I'm here with Jeff from TruPlay. If you didn't catch that already, and so we will talk about TruPlay and what they're doing from a Christian content perspective to help benefit kids. So a lot of good stuff coming up here. So stay tuned. We have just this little presentation we're going to be doing, and just a lot of good information. So without further ado, Jeff, you are up.
Thank you. And thank you so much for inviting me here to do this, Cliff. You know, we really are. We're here for the kids. We're talking about our kids right now because that's why we're here. We're all parents
Hmm.
and we're all like doing the best we can. But the rules have changed, right? It's different out there. In the digital age, it is harder than ever to raise happy, healthy, productive, God-fearing, members of society, right? Which is what every parent really wants. And now we have all these new um, obstacles and just things that are sort of new challenges to deal with as parents. And we're all dealing with them. So we come together to share information, right? What are we doing? What's working? What's not working? And learn from each other so that we can just, you know, create environments where our kids can thrive. And so I appreciate any opportunity to come and talk about it. We love so much what you do, Cliff, as a Christian content creator. And we're
Thank you.
grateful that you would host us on your channel and let your audience get exposed to us. So
Yeah.
this is meant to be a back and forth. Cliff, please stop me, ask me any questions you want as we go through this. And that goes
Yeah.
for you too, chat. If you have something, drop it in the chat. Cliff can see it and he'll stop me and field the question or address the concern or whatever it might be. I'm just going to go through this little presentation that I put together as I've gathered some information that's been helpful to me with my boys. It's navigating the turbulent waters of screen time and and the devices, and hopefully it'll be helpful to all of you. And at the end, we'll even give some stuff away if you guys stick around and you want access to some of the stuff that we've got. So
Yeah.
yeah, I started this off with a question, right? What do you think of when you hear the phrase screen time?
Yeah, I know we've done this before, Jeff, but still, like, I feel like the just the idea of screen time has stayed the same for me, and it has a lot of like negative connotations to it of like, and even for me, like I work in front of screens, and like my eyes will be, they just feel like dried out sometimes, and I'm like, I just feel brain dead. I'm like, man, I've been staring at screens for too long, and so it's not always like this healthy thing of like screen time is like something I need to reduce. I need to get rid of. I need, like, we just removed the TV. Like I said, it's like we have to reduce screen time. So that's, I'd say, naturally where I gravitate towards.
Yeah, it's a scary phrase today, right? Why do we all have to like have a strategy for screen time? Like why is this a thing? Well, it is a thing, and we do have to deal with it. So let's deal with it. Uh, Let me show you why we're here for real. So this is a very interesting chart. This is from childtrends.org. Anybody can look this up, and I'll just sort of unpack it for you. So that dotted line that's going from the bottom left to the top right, that dotted line is the Child and Adolescent Thriving Index. This is an index that has been, it's a bunch of factors that get put together into an index to measure the environment in which a child should thrive. Right? It includes things like simple stuff: access to food and clean water, and access to good education, access to health care. Mom and dad in the household with them, like all these factors goes into this index. And as you can see, this chart starts in the year 2000 and ends in the year 2018. And over the course of that time, the environment in which children need to thrive has been improving. Things have been getting better. People are doing better. You know, we've been through some awful things like a pandemic and some other stuff. But even all those things considered, we we really are in a great time for humanity in terms of just an environment in which we can all thrive, and that goes for kids too. But if you look at the other line, that solid line, you can see that it just hovers along about at the same spot, and then an abrupt decline happens in it. That is the absence of depressive symptoms. It's kind of a double negative there. Absence of depressive symptoms. So that means there was a higher absence of depressive symptoms until about 2012, when all of a sudden that line goes south fast. And that means
Yeah.
that depressive symptoms started to appear at that time and
Yeah.
increased every year, year on year, up until this chart starts in 2018. If we extrapolated this past 2018, we'd see that that trend line continues to get worse. So, what that means is even while indicators of child thriving have improved, mental health for kids is declining.
Yep.
So, why? What happened? I'll show you. Bam. That was it. Um, it was in 2011, 2010, I think, is when they debuted the iPad, and then 2011 pretty much pervaded, right? And by 2021, over like 90% of households with children in them have a smart tablet or some sort of a smart device, right? Kids have access to these things and have them in their hands a lot. Over 50 hours per week is how much time the average kid spends in front of a screen. Over
Wow.
50 hours per week. Let that sink in.
That's a full-time job.
Yeah. Yeah, it's more than a full-time job, right?
Yeah.
The old 40-hour work week. It's more than a full-time job. These kids are on screens. So, unfortunately, now we are seeing some really awful trends. All-time highs for child depression, anxiety, and suicide. So, are these things connected? Like, that's really what we're here to sort of unpack and try to figure this out and how to best protect our kids from whatever is out there that is affecting them negatively like this.
Yeah.
So, is it the device, right? Like, that's really it. It's all correlated to that one point in time. And there's certainly a lot of that in the news and a lot of studies that are studying this right now. I've pulled a
Hmm.
couple of them out that show some negative effects of devices, right? From Psychology Today, they say smartphone use and it may be contributing to mental distress among young people.
It
And even in
maybe, but
the Journal of
we
American
know that it
Academy of
is.
Child and Adolescent Psychiatry, they say that there's a link between exposure to electronic devices and struggles with self esteem and literacy comprehension.
Yep.
So um, there's a problem here, right?
Yep.
People are starting to see the trend, certainly, and now adults are starting to organize around how to like figure this out and to mitigate this issue. Even whole nations, I don't know if you caught this in the news, but at the end of last year, Australia seems to think that it's not just the device, that it's social media as well. And they passed a social media ban for all children under the age of 16, um, which is really interesting. So now we're starting to see like legislation come out in whole countries taking stands against this whole thing that's out there affecting our kids in negative ways.
Yeah.
Is it
I
social
feel
media?
like
Yep.
I feel like it's a good thing, but also, and I know you'll get into this, Jeff, is like, our kids need to know how to have internet like etiquette. They need to know how to use these devices appropriately. And so, social media isn't going anywhere itself. So like to ban it under the age of 16, I feel like in some ways is like, okay, cool, they're safe. But then what happens when they hit 16 and they don't know how to use these tools and there's no like they haven't had any experience, and it's a hard thing to navigate, I think, as parents and as societies. Like, is the strict just like ban, is that the best approach? Maybe. I don't know. Like it's a hard thing to figure out.
That's right. Like, what really are the options, right? What are
Yeah.
our options? It's kind of hard to escape altogether. So, what can you do? Well, we think that there's like, four little subcategories that we'll unpack here in a second, one by one. But this is kind of it, right? You can establish usage restrictions, maybe sessions, time limits, stuff like that, days of the week, special occasions, whatever. You can manage these things at the device level, and we're going to give you some tips and tricks there. You can manage screen time at the app level, also, like use technology to combat the technology. And obviously, there's a lot of ratings and resources out there that are useful for parents, and we're going to tell you about a couple of those. So if there are any questions before we start, or should we just get into it?
Go for it.
All right. So if we're talking about managing screen time at the device level, there you can use your phone, whatever your phone or your tablets themselves. Now, you either there's like two lanes, right? You're either an iOS Apple device or you're an Android device like Samsung, Google, all those Android devices. But those are the two major operating systems. Most of us have one or the other. Our kids have access to one or the other. And if you go into them, you'll see in the settings, this is actually a screenshot of my personal iPhone. On the left-hand side there, you can see that in settings, they have a whole category called screen time. That scary word. Like, why do they have this? Because Apple, they know what they're doing. They're not dummies. They know that this is an issue that all of us are worried about. And so they
Hmm.
actually have tools built into the device to help you address this issue, because they certainly want to do their part, right? So if you click on that, it'll open up what you see there on the right side of the screen. And these are the screen time subsettings. And if you go into downtime, which is the top one there, this can help you to block apps and notifications for specific periods of time. So you can schedule it, right? You can say, okay, kids, you only get access to these apps for 1 hour per day or whatever, and you can set your time limits there. It's really
Yeah.
useful because then you don't have to be the bad guy, right? The device just stops working, and the kids realize that, no, well, that's it, it's over.
Yeah.
If you go to app limits, this can help you to set daily limits for app categories. So let's say you want to keep the productivity apps enabled as a category, but you want to limit like the entertainment or the social media apps or something like that. Like certainly during homework time, you don't want access to all that, but the kids have to have their devices because they got to do their homework on them in a lot of cases. So you can use that app limits function to create the rules around that. If you go to skipping always allowed, which allows you to, just basically set the ones that are always allowed. If you jump down to screen distance, this is a really interesting one also that will help
Yeah.
to mitigate against the fixed focal length issue.
Yeah.
Researchers have determined now that there's a rising levels of myopia, which is nearsightedness in kids. And they're like, what's this all about? And they figured out that it's probably connected to this fixed focal length that 50 hours plus per week we're staring at this thing at the same distance in front of our faces all day. And as your eyeball is maturing, this is actually not good for growth
Yeah.
and maturation of the organs in the eye itself. The like the lens and there's a lot of them. I don't want to get too
Yeah.
much into it, but for
Jeff.
proper eye development, you need distance.
Yeah.
Your eye needs to be working to see stuff far away and stuff near up all day long. Your pupil opens and closes and all that stuff, and it's like a muscle. There are muscles in
Yeah.
your, and if you don't use them, you lose them, and your eyes don't function right. So they know about this, and they've programmed a little screen distance thing that can force you to be moving your device if you want to focus on the things. It's pretty interesting. Check it out.
Jeff, it's because of you that I know what the word myopia is.
Oh, you're welcome. Yeah, there you go.
And
Myopia, it's nearsightedness. A lot of us suffer from it.
yeah. I
And
mean, I'm obviously wearing glasses, and it's because of that. And I can tell you, I grew up spending a lot of time in front of screens, like probably well over the 50-hour per week
wow.
metric. I spent so much time in front of screens, and so I definitely think that the best eyesight does not run in my family to begin with. So there's obviously some genetic factors there, but I did not do myself any favors, and I'm sure that my vision is much worse because of my screen time. So I think having features like this and knowing that they exist is important. And one time, my daughter's phone, like I think somehow turned this on, like we didn't turn it on, and she was getting so frustrated because it kept popping up, and I was like, I'm not changing that, like I'm keeping it on. So
Yeah.
it's funny.
Yeah, it's interesting. And there's also schools of thought and science around like blue wavelengths of light and
Yep.
messing up the circadian rhythm,
Yep.
because the blue wavelengths that come out of our computer screens are also the blue wavelengths that are found in sunlight. And when the sun goes down
Mhm.
at nighttime in nature, those blue wavelengths go away, and our
Yep.
species has evolved with that normal rhythm. And there's a lot of gene expression that is controlled by that circadian rhythm. And we're missing out on it now because long after the sun goes down, we're still staring into these screens, and our eyes, the cells at the back in our retinas are still getting signals from this blue wavelength of light telling us it's daytime.
Yeah.
And so our bodies delay all these normal processes that are supposed to go on after the sun goes down. Uh, they think this could also play a role in poor eyesight and other things as well, disrupting the circadian rhythm. But I'm getting way off topic. But if you want to know more about it, I'm happy to expound.
Yeah.
Um, let's go to this one, communication limits. Kind of self-explanatory here. You can limit who your kids can communicate with and at certain times of the day. So if you want to like block their friend group during homework time, like that's the one you want to visit.
Yeah.
Communication safety. This one is pretty important. This one will detect and blur stuff that you don't want your kids to see, like nudity or something if it comes up on the phone screen. And also, this content and privacy restrictions goes a step further there, and you can block access to like restricted websites, stuff you don't, websites you don't want your kids visiting. It will block purchases if you instruct it to do so, and it can restrict access to AI tools, even like Siri, the native one on your iPhone. Google has a bunch of the same settings in their devices, phones and tablets. So I really encourage parents to start here, managing at the device level. Take out your devices, your kids' devices especially. Go in there one time, go through all of them, set it, and forget it. You never have to worry about it again. Until they get old enough where they're really bothering you because they want access to whatever you restricted.
Mm-hmm.
You can also use like pins to block all these things so your kids can't change them by themselves. Questions, comments, concerns?
Um, so far, just good comments. I know there was one question, but I don't think I've been answering them in the chat as we kind of go where I can. But I don't think it's a phone setting thing. But yeah, just kind of comments. Rustler said he's 13 and he's never played video games before. We'll stick around to the end because you might start playing video games
Yeah,
because we
you
have
actually
cool
might.
Christian games we're
I
going to be
think
talking about.
the thesis is they might not all be bad, and we'll get there in a second.
Yeah.
So, okay, let's move on. This is another thing. If you click that last one on there in that settings, it'll take you to this one, and it's a sensitive photo video protection. And this basically will help to keep bad stuff out of there. All right, let's move on to managing at the app level. So the last ones were all the device level. Now these are actual softwares and applications and subscription services that you can get access to help you take it a level deeper. Starting on the left, all those ones on the left are subscription services. So all of these do have an associated price with them, but every one of them offers a free trial so you can, kick the tires, see if it's right for you and your family. And they all specialize in kind of different things. Overall, I would say that Net Nanny is the value option, and Kaspersky is really great for iOS devices. If you're a Mac, not a PC, then that one is probably for you. Our Pact is great for monitoring, and Custodio and Norton are actually really good for like if you've got a big family or family network, or you want to like share this with the cousins too. I would check those out. And all of these sort of specialize in different things, but they'll allow you to get access to everything that's happening on the kids' devices. It'll show you their text messages, their watch histories, the stuff that they're browsing and doing, and it basically
Mm-hmm.
create a log and also give you some rules that you can put into place to govern those things that they do on there. The things on the right are free, and everybody should get in here and mess around with these. Google Family Link and Microsoft Family Safety. So here you can register all of your devices and softwares like games and stuff, like especially if you've got an Xbox at home, like the Microsoft Family Safety is really important. And
Mm-hmm.
Google Family Link, same thing, just allows you to monitor usage, content that's coming through. If your kids try to do something, it will alert you, and you can give permission in the moment. Like you can okay it in the moment. If they're trying to like play a new game or watch a new video or watch something that's restricted, you'll know about it. So this is also very helpful stuff. I recommend you check them out. I can tell you, I my family uses both these on the right hand side, and I've tried a little bit of everything on the left hand side.
Yeah.
Cliff, I think you did too. Which one did you try?
Yeah, we tried Custodio for a little bit, and that was cool. You could see like individual YouTube videos watched, which was really cool. And then we still use Microsoft Family Safety for the laptops, and that one's been great. We've been able. I think we had it set up. We don't. They don't use their laptops as much, but when they were, we had it set up to where they could only access specific websites. So they couldn't just go onto the web and search. It wouldn't let them. They could only go to websites that we had approved for like their schoolwork and stuff like that. So it was pretty cool.
Yeah, it's really helpful. It just gives you peace of mind, once you get in here and configure some rules, you know that there's at least a wall or two of safety in place.
Yeah.
And so, Chad, if you guys know of any others, I'm always looking for more, and I'd love to add to this list. So just feel
Yeah,
free to pop it in there.
Covenant Eyes has been mentioned a couple times, which I'm familiar with. I know that's typically more for around like helping with the addiction stuff. I don't want to get too explicit here. And looking at things that you shouldn't be looking at, it definitely is really good for that. I know it differs a little bit from these ones because some of these are more like mobile, like tracking everything that's going on the phone. Like you said, like the text messages, all this stuff. There's another one that I can't remember the name of that's kind of similar to Covenant Eyes 2 that can like if it can like censor pictures and stuff like that when they come in and sends like screenshot, I think like reports and different things like that. So there's a lot of really, really cool tools out there. So yeah, someone's mentioning Go Guardian as well, which I have not heard of, so I'm not familiar with that.
Got to check it out. I'm not familiar either. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. So we talked about a couple of things that are good for helping us to manage these screens and get in control of the screen time problem. But I want to challenge everybody to like think a layer deeper on all of this. And here's the question I'm going to pose: what is really the problem? Remember, we started this with a problem. Like our kids are in crisis. That's for real. This is
Yeah.
happening. Like suicide, anxiety, depression. These rates are high and rising. So there is a problem. But is it the screen itself?
Not always.
Well, it's a slippery slope, right? They're not going away, as Cliff said. They're here. We
Yeah.
are here. We're not going backwards. We're staring into them right now, right? I work every day looking into one. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
going to be able to avoid that. Um, so, is it all bad, right? I guess is the question. And at diving into this and really doing some research on it, what we have discovered is that no, it's not all bad. There are actually plenty of positive effects of the digital age, right?
Yep.
Screens. We're seeing enhanced cognitive skills. This one comes from American Psychological Association, and then I'll just read it out. The research from the American Psychological Association shows that action video games improve spatial awareness, problem solving abilities, and multitasking skills, key elements of learning and development. That's good. How about increased engagement in learning from Stanford, right? A study at the University of Wisconsin found that games stimulate the brain's reward centers, increasing engagement and motivation, which leads to more effective learning outcomes compared to traditional teaching methods. I know that my kid's school does this a lot, right? He's on Zern. He comes home. He does a lot of his learning blocks are using technology to help the learning experience, and they're seeing great results with it.
Yeah.
Also, habit formation through repetition. According to research
Mm.
published in Cyber Psychology, behavior and social networking games encourage repeated actions, supporting the development of positive habits and reinforcing learned behaviors over time. Boosted memory and memory retention. Study in Nature demonstrates that learning through interactive gaming increases memory retention rates by up to 90%, as it allows users to actively apply knowledge in varied scenarios. And then finally, with your SEL, social and emotional development, studies from Stanford University indicate that gaming can improve emotional intelligence and social skills as players experience a range of scenarios that foster empathy, resilience, and communication, crucial for developing a well rounded character. I experienced this last night. I hear like the screaming coming out of my 11-year-old's room, and I open it up, and he's in there playing a game on his computer, and he's got his iPad next to him, so like two screens. And on the iPad are his cousins that live in California,
Yep.
and all three of them are in a digital world on a boat. On a pirate ship. They're playing this game called Sea of Thieves, and they're like coordinating together on this mission to accomplish a goal, and they've got to really clearly communicate and negotiate like back and forth who's going to do what job on the boat. Somebody's got to raise the sails, somebody's got to steer. And it was eye-opening to watch them sort of solve problems in real time. And
Yeah.
I'm sitting there thinking to myself, this is a good skill he's learning. Like, they're learning to communicate the way
Mm-hmm.
that you need to be successful on a team in the real world.
Yeah.
And even though he was shouting at the time, it was actually really developmentally positive. I
Yeah.
sat there and watched them for a good 30 minutes. So there are benefits, right? Check this out. This is going to blow your mind.
Yes.
The impact of video games on training surgeons in the 21st century. So basically, this is a journal article from the Journal of American Medical Association, which is a very respectable medical journal. And they did a study, and the results were that the past video game play in excess of 3 hours per week, so real video game play, correlated with 37% fewer errors and 27% faster completion of surgeries, where like an error could be catastrophic, right?
Yep.
So this is like clear evidence that there are benefits, right, to using screens responsibly, and certainly with video game play, if it's done responsibly.
Yeah,
Oh,
this is sorry, that statistic is one of the craziest. I'm pretty sure when I first found out about that, I was like walking around like telling my wife and stuff. I'm like, this is crazy. Like video games like mean less deaths, really. Like if we want to just be blatantly like blunt about it, like it means more successful surgeries, less complications, and like not even just deaths too. Like you think about how many times people have a surgery and then there's like these side effects
mm,
that could come because something was done incorrectly, and it's like now the person is maybe alive and was one problem was fixed, but now there's a new problem. Like that can be avoided simply because your surgeon plays video games. It's like
yeah.
literally mind blowing. It's crazy. So
Yeah,
yeah,
it's pretty cool. I mean, anything taken to an extreme could be a bad thing, but done in
yeah,
moderation and done responsibly, clearly there are benefits.
right,
And like an anecdote from my own life, I played video games growing up as a kid, and
yeah,
my sister did not. And I remember when my father was trying to teach, little 14-year-old Jeffrey how to drive a car, he was blown away because I got in the car and I could drive. I knew how to drive. He like didn't have to teach me. We got into a parking lot, he gave me the wheel, and I was like, okay, I put that into drive and grab the wheel. And he's
yep,
like, I had such a hard time with your sister. And it was video games. It was developing
yep.
hand-eye coordination, going to the arcade, playing those games where you learn to drive a car, like getting really good at Ridge Racer. It's like I had been practicing for a long time, and then when it
Yeah,
came time to do it for real, I kind of knew the basics.
yep.
So yeah,
Yeah, no, it's so good.
it poses the broader question, right? I asked, is the problem really the device itself? Uh, no, I don't think it is. I think it might be something else. And I think the content, that is coming through the devices really are just their screens, right? They're portals. They are portals into content, right? They're not inherently bad, these screens. We use them at church, and they're here to stay. So
Yep,
I think we need to focus this on something else, right? Because screens are not inherently negative. They're not inherently the problem. Um, and if, like Cliff, you said this earlier on in this conversation, like if you really take a hard line and like block your kids from everything in a digital world that we're all living in, you're going to put them at a deficit.
yep,
That's also scary, right? You don't want them to fall behind. You don't want them to walk out into the world at 18 and have no experience when they're competing for jobs, competing in life with
Mm-hmm.
digital natives, like kids that grew up with these devices in their hands. So
Yep.
we really just need to, as parents, be more aware of what is getting access to our kids through these portals. And I
Mm-hmm.
think that's where we need to focus our attention.
Yeah, Jeff, I heard someone say one time that when our kids get on like social media or the internet or something like that, like we're not giving them access to the world, we're giving the world access to them. And that was kind of like it really shifted the way I was thinking about things, because it was always like, yes, we want to restrict our kids from accessing things that they shouldn't access, but really, like, are we helping prevent people or things accessing them that shouldn't be accessing them, like, and we could even go on to say, like, how is the enemy working through these screens? How is the devil seeking to kill, steal, and destroy through these screens? And are we protecting our kids, spiritually, by physically putting up parameters and navigating these things? And so, to your point, like, we have to teach them how to get on these devices and navigate them appropriately, navigate them safely, so that we're not allowing the enemy to get access to them at the end of the day. And I know you're about to get into a whole lot of that. So
Yeah, I think what you just said was pretty profound right there. And you're right; these things are windows, and
yeah,
we're giving people access to our kids that shouldn't have it. All right, so the content, right? Now, is this a new problem? No. Kids we've had TVs for a long time. And
yeah,
we know we don't want our kids watching everything. And even in 1996, it took until 1996, by the way. But the Telecommunication Act mandated finally a TV rating system so that parents could be informed when a show started if it was kid friendly or not kid friendly. That's where we have these ratings that we're all used to, right?
hmm,
G, TV 14, TV mature, R, PG. You're all familiar with them. And this helped us to filter inappropriate content that shouldn't be making its way to our kids.
yeah,
And do we have the same thing for video games? Well, it's complicated. The answer is yes. We do. We have a rating system. It's called the ESRB, and you may have seen these on video games. And there's also some really helpful resources that parents can use. So if you see these, you can, that's one filter you can apply. These companies that I've got below the line here, Common Sense Media, Plugged In from Focus on the Family, and Parent Protect, these are all free services. You can just go online. They're basically like search engines. You can search up content, and then you will get really comprehensive reviews about the nature of the content and whether or not it's appropriate for kids, and which age ranges it is and is not appropriate for, stuff like that. Really helpful, useful tools for parents that care, and all parents should. So get
yeah.
familiar with these things, and let me show you. Let's play a game. If you're a parent with young kids in the house, you're probably familiar with this brand, Roblox. It's a platform, so it's an app, a mobile app. You can also play on PC, but it's not a game per se. There are lots of games inside the Roblox app. It's like a gaming platform, and if you're a parent with littles, you're probably familiar with it. What do you think its ESRB rating is? I'll give you a hint. It's not E for everyone.
Yeah, it's teen, right?
It is. It is rated T for teen, the Roblox platform. And I'll share some more data with you here. So let's take a look at the distribution of Roblox audiences worldwide as of December 2022. This is by age group. So the teens would start there from 13 years old and on up. But as you can see here, based on this survey, it says that almost half of the daily players on Roblox are actually under that T for teen rating.
Mm-hmm.
And I challenge even this result, right?
Yeah,
There's 1% listed as unknown, but also, like, how many of those 13 through 25 plus year olds are not being
honest.
honest about
Yeah,
their age range
yeah.
to get access to this thing? I can tell you it is extremely popular with young kids, kids under the age of 11 years old.
Yeah. Well,
So
Jeff, someone is saying now in the App Store it's rated 16 plus is what they have on there.
oh, well, I'm happy to hear about that. When I pulled I pulled this data maybe a month, 2 months ago, so they must have just updated this, and I probably know why they just
Y-
updated it, because
Yeah.
Roblox has been in the news a lot lately. If you're paying attention, several
And
lawsuits
not
have
for
been
good
brought up.
reasons.
Say again.
I said not for good reasons.
Not for, unfortunately, not for awful reasons. We won't belabor that point too much, but you can do a Google search and find out exactly what's going on. But basically, they have opened up kids get access to things they should not have access to, and worse, people that shouldn't have access to your kids are getting access to your kids through the Roblox platform. They're using it as a way to get access to your kids. So yeah, there's issues with this rating system, right? Even though it's rated 16 now, is that going to change the demographic of the kids that are using Roblox tomorrow? No, not at all. Not even a little bit. Why? Well, these ratings are kind of meaningless, right? They're not actually required by law, even. The Supreme Court has already held that legal enforcement of the ESRB ratings is it unconstitutionally violates free speech laws. So I don't think we will see it legislated. Maybe we will, maybe we won't. But regardless, it's up to us as parents to know what's going on out there, and in the activities that our kids are doing online, and to put like a filter in place, or put protections in place for our kids, the same way we would if we were taking them out into the world. You're not going to let your kids run across a busy street, and Roblox is a busy street.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So Roblox isn't the only bad actor. Like, let's really talk about what is out there meeting our kids through these screens.
Mm-hmm.
Grand Theft Auto, Fortnite, Resident Evil, Diablo. These are games that encourage just about every deadly sin and break just about every one of the 10 commandments. Our kids, they're under attack,
Yep.
right? And they are raging, rampaging, bragging about how many headshots they racked up. The Roblox lawsuit, right? Uh, it's now 11 is when the average kid is exposed to pornography, and it always happens online, and that is going down, right? That year over year, that number gets lower and lower.
Yeah.
Our kids are getting bombarded with toxic content, and it's working.
Yep.
What do I mean by that?
It's sad.
It's working, right? You said it, Cliff, earlier in your comment. Like, the enemy is working. He knows that our kids are there on these devices, and he's showing up,
Yep.
and it's working. If you look generation over generation, what you'll see is a precipitous decline in belief in God. And now Gen Z, it's probably even worse for Gen Alpha. Only 32% of kids believe in God, and only 2% two have a biblical worldview.
It's
So
wild.
yeah, it's not trivial, right? I asked the question here:
Yeah.
is this connected to the metric that we started off with? These rising rates of anxiety, depression, suicide in kids. Are these two things connected? There's evidence that they are,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
There's plenty of research out there that demonstrates that the more you believe in God, the less likely you are to have depressive symptoms. There is a negative correlation. That is, when one goes up, the other goes down. When belief in God goes up, depression goes down, and vice versa. So in that graph you saw where belief in God is decreasing, 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 it makes logical sense that anxiety
Yep.
and depression is increasing for these cohorts as well, right?
Yeah.
So the toxic content is everywhere. Where's the good stuff? Chat, if you know, like, please throw it in the chat. Like, let us know. I'm always looking for good stuff for my kids, stuff that's going to help, stuff that's going to bolster, not stuff that's going to tear them down.
Yeah.
So please let me know. There is some stuff that we found, um, you know, and like if you really look hard, if you're looking for God, it's hard to find God out there on these devices.
Mm-hmm.
There, but it's not it's not everywhere. And the problem with it is most of it is really low quality, and it just doesn't compete on the entertainment scale to capture kids' attention that these like secular and toxic alternatives. So you know we have to do better in terms of content creation and meeting kids where they are and bringing God with us there if we
Yep.
really want to win this battle of spiritual warfare. Um, did anybody
Yeah.
throw anything in the chat, Cliff? I'd love to know.
No, I asked too in the chat just to see, but nothing yet.
You may
But
have
I
heard of
think
stuff
this,
like Minnow, which is good. It's decent. It's got some good videos in there for kids. The rest of
yeah,
them are really just sort of lame, kind of lame games and stuff.
yeah. I think is
And
that Superbook on there as well? I
yeah,
think.
Superbook is good.
I
There are like there are some stuff, but it's just hard to find a lot of stuff, and it's really hard to find things that are of the kind of quality where your kid is gonna like want to do it, right?
right,
It's
right.
like we all know vegetables are good for our children too, and we all try to fight that battle,
Yeah,
but our kids, they're fighting against us, right? Which is
right.
a problem. It's hard.
Yep,
It's hard to find
yep.
stuff they'll that isn't cough medicine,
Yeah.
you know.
It's like we
So
definitely have the right idea of like bringing these things to the children. Like that's important. Is like meeting them where they're at. But like you said, it's like you need the quality. And I know obviously you're gonna get into TruPlay and how you guys are doing that because I would say, I mean, as far as gaming, 100% the best quality I've seen in Christian mobile gaming. I mean, I think in Christian gaming in general, but Christian mobile gaming, yeah,
that's why we're here. That's why we're here doing what we're doing. That's why all of us like left our secular jobs for big companies like leaders in the space in entertainment, in technology, and gaming,
yeah,
uh, big brands, and we were fed up, of just the lack of good stuff out there that doesn't have a toxic message also.
yeah,
And that's how TruePlay came together. So what is TruePlay? You're probably asking. It's one app. It's a mobile app because that's where the kids are. And inside that app, there are dozens of things to do, right? World class games and really high quality animated videos, even digital comics from big brands like the Action Bible and Book of God and Kingstone Comics. It's great because not only is it really high quality, but it's safe, right? There's no ads, no chat rooms where bad actors are going to get access to your kids, no in app purchases, and all of the content inside of TruePlay is designed to build character and nurture faith in kids, right? It's a subscription model. So one subscription unlocks this whole digital universe of just faith-filled adventures featuring dozens of games and all these like unique characters. Like we have this thing that we call the Rimverse. It's a metaverse, and there's a character in there for every kind of kid. So there's somebody in there for them to identify with. And here, maybe I think I do have a slide on. I can show you some things here. Oh, I'm going to show you this. This will give you an example of some of the content that's inside of TruePlay, just to give you a taste of the kind of moments that are in there and the quality of the games and the other content. And I'll just hit play here. Let me know if you can hear this, okay?
What's that over there? I got this.
Lord, I know you're with me. Help me be like you. Come on!
My father sent me to take food to my brothers, all soldiers in King Saul's army. But I knew God had called me to something bigger.
Dear Lord, could use some help right now.
Trust in the Lord with all your heart.
It seems like these vines have minds of their own.
With God's help, I can be fearless.
Maple, I think it's time for a hailstorm. Watch what these do.
Living in the garden was incredible.
I needed to build a boat to rescue my family and the animals on the earth.
God tells me to be strong and courageous!
You're taking that old thing with you?
I needed to find Chase.
He's with God.
I know. That's where I'm going.
Please, God, keep him safe.
So just a little taste of what's inside. And here are some, these are the characters that I was talking about. These are our Rimverse characters. Each of them are learning who they are in God, right? As they go through their story arcs. All of them are featured in different games and different videos, and all of these storylines intersect. And, they grow, and our kids can identify with them and grow with them and learn the kind of things that we want our kids to learn, things that positive Christian values that build character and nurture faith over time. And it's really important, because if you don't form a relationship with God in what they call the 4 to 14 window, from ages 4 to 14, you're very unlikely to form one in the rest of your life. Most adults, like 85-90% of adults, report that they form their relationship with God within that 4 to 14 window. And so it's important that we meet the kids there and that they have something that they can identify with. And that's how we've designed this Rimverse. So each one of them will have traits like, one of them gets bullied at school. One of them has divorced parents. One of them, his brother died when he was young. And one of them is on the autism spectrum. So there's a character in there for everyone.
Yeah, this is one of my favorite things about what you guys are doing, is just having these relatable kids. It's more than just games for them to play. That's just, to me, that's just kind of like the tip of the iceberg. Then as you start to go deeper, you realize like, oh, like I think you have like videos of these characters like praying and stuff, right? I haven't watched them, but I saw them on the app. So it's like there's prayers on there. There's literally like characters where you're watching them develop their story and their life, and they have real struggles as we do in real life. And so kids don't feel so, I think kids can feel very isolated and alone. It's not like adults. We might be able to go to like a community group or something, ideally, and talk to people about things, or go to a therapist or whatever it is, where it's like kids don't always have that opportunity. And so to be exposed to something that is not only pointing them back towards the Lord, but also that's relatable to their real life situation, I think is extremely important. And I just think it's so cool that you guys are doing that.
Yeah. Yeah, thanks. It's been a help even in my house. Like what I'm able to do, what I've noticed is I can relate something that has happened in gameplay, like while my kids are playing on the app, like they'll get exposed to something, a biblical theme or actual, scripture or a prayer or something like that. They'll get exposed to it there. And then I can tie that back in to bedtime routine when we're doing prayer time at nighttime before bed, like I can tie in an experience they had playing video games to what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Right. And so it's kind of cool because it's fun first.
Yeah.
Like play is first fun. And then it also has the word of God like seamlessly integrated into this gameplay. So it's pretty cool. I said
Jeff,
it's fun first. It's not cough medicine, right? And I actually have proof of that.
Yeah, Jeff, real quick, I do think something that's interesting that you just said is like they get exposed to something in game, and think about how often we're talking about kids getting exposed to like inappropriate things or the wrong things in game.
About it, right?
But now it's like with like TruPlay, it's like, no, when they get exposed to something, it's like it's scripture, it's a prayer. Like they're getting exposed to Christian themes and values, and it's like it's kind of like mind blowing to think like, wow, like there's this shift that is taking place right now and here with TruPlay and some of these other apps, but like that can be more of the reality for everyone as we delve into more of these like if we use TruePlay, or if more people come out and create content that is Christian. I mean, that's obviously why I'm on the internet, is to create Christian content. So it's like we want to expose people more to what Jesus Christ has to offer, and less of what the enemy is offering.
Yeah, that's right. And bottom line is your kids are gonna like it, right? It's not cough medicine. You're not gonna have to force feed it to them like sometimes we have to drag our kids to Sunday school, right? Like you won't have to do that in this case. This data comes from Sensor Tower, which is a research company that studies mobile applications. And anybody can look this up, but these are the metrics that sort of video games and mobile apps pay attention to. It's called day one, week one, and month one retention. That is how likely, what percentage of the cohort comes back after one day to the app, or after 1 week, or after 1 month. And TruePlay, the platform, compares very favorably to Roblox and Minecraft. Kids are actually twice as likely after 1 week or 1 month, twice as likely to come back to TruePlay as opposed to the others when they started for the first time.
Yeah, I think that's
Yeah.
a testament in itself right there.
Because it's entertaining, and that's it. That's the big difference between TruePlay and what the other options that are out there that that are alternatives to the toxic stuff. TruePlay is actually as fun as the toxic stuff.
More fun. Jeff, real quick, this is more of a technical question. I don't know if you know. Do you know what the development platform is? Are you guys hosting off of any platform? Do you know?
Unity.
Unity. Okay, that's one of the ones they gave 3 examples, and that is one of them. So okay, cool. Thank you.
Yeah, Unity. They're all Unity-based games, and yeah, there's tons of stuff inside the one app. So download the app and play around with it if you're curious. And don't take my word for it, right? I work there, right? I've got to be biased. Let's hear what moms and kids are saying about TruePlay.
So Noah, our 6-year-old, is super scared of the dark. Then last night I heard him yell, "God tells me to be strong and courageous." Turns out he picked this up from a brave bunny character in TruePlay Games. Pro parenting tip, get TruePlay Games for your kids. You won't regret it.
What do I think? Oh, I think it's amazing. So excited to have something like this for my kids because it's safe and they're learning about God and they're having fun.
Hey Beverly, who's your favorite TruePlay Games character?
It's the Tiger Bunny.
The Tiger Bunny Maple?
Yes.
Do you love TruePlay Games?
Yes.
What's your favorite part?
Oh, fighting the bad guy.
So I was playing Little Light, and then like right after the little letter, the paper, Lumi said, like, God will always have time for us, like, just that little speech bubble, and it made me cry and happy.
Hey, Zeb, how does playing TruePlay make you feel?
It makes me feel happy. Like, I want more of it. Like, I want to increase my skills and to learn more about God when I play it.
Yeah. It makes him feel happy. And he wants to increase his skills and learn more about God. Like, we could live in a world where that is a reality for our kids instead of one where they're rage quitting and throwing their controller at the TV screen or bragging about, headshots. It is possible, and we see it every day. So I'm just excited to be able to share this news with everyone. And I'm so happy that you guys have tuned in to hear about it. Even if it's not for you and yours, like if you just tell someone else, it's worth my time here talking to you guys. So I'm gonna play one more video because TruePlay's new, right? But our biggest obstacle is that no one knows about us, and it's hard to compete with these Goliaths of gaming, right? I can't compete with Grand Theft Auto in terms of an advertising budget, right? So I need help. I need to be doing stuff like this, and I need people like you to learn about it and then tell friends. And we've been around in the App Store for a little over a year now. I want to show you the kind of momentum that we've been able to build, just grassroots, just without those budgets. And I'm going to play this video for you, and then we'll give you an offer.
Imagine Video games that combine high-quality graphics, family fun, and teaching the Word of God. The world needs a whole lot more of that, and his company TruPlay is giving it to us.
Only 32% of kids in America believe in God. Can you believe that?
32%.
32%. A recent survey revealing just 32% of our nation's children believe in God. Man, that's a staggeringly low number. And now a new Christian entertainment and gaming platform is hoping to change that. TruPlay invites children to engage in their faith and the Bible while playing online. Our whole goal, the reason we're really motivated to do this is, you know, if only 32% of the youngest generation believes in God, well, what if that changed? What if that goes from 30 to 40 to 50 to over half? You could see not only a generation, but our country, and maybe the whole world would change if people believed in Jesus and knew God's truth, because it would bring back hope into their lives.
How can people, I love it. Absolutely fantastic.
I don't know if you know exactly what I've been talking about for the last 2.5 decades, but I'm so thankful you exist. You are the solution to the problems I've been addressing around this globe forever.
Here is the best part about this app. It is Christian and it is full of the Bible. It has stories about Jesus. It has scriptures. It is full of biblical teachings worked into every game, every story, every video. It's incredible.
Now, there is an opportunity to harness advancements in the gaming industry for good. We don't have to compromise on quality, fun, or imagination to enjoy the world of digital entertainment. We just have to choose our sources wisely. TruPlay Games agrees, and they are leading the way.
You're taking a venue, a culture that's already happening, and you're infusing the kingdom in it and teach them about spiritual warfare, identity, core values, how to prosper, work ethics, good character. All these things can be taught through video games.
Kevin Sorbo here. Now listen, the internet is the Wild West for kids. So are you looking for a fun and safe app for your kids to play games? TruPlay has the app for you.
Of course I endorse it, and of course it shines the light of Christ. But it has the power of engaging gamers and the next generation for that matter.
That's it. We want you to join the movement. We want you to help us. You know, if it's right for you, check it out. There is a 7-day free trial for anybody that wants to try it out. There's no risk whatsoever. And there's 2 really affordable subscription options. You can either go monthly or go annual if you're interested in that. And Cliff can give you access to his personal promo code and get you a deal on that annual subscription if you want. And we're even going to give some accounts away here to you guys that have stayed around to listen to us talk. So Cliff, show them what's up.
I'm going to put 2 links in the chat. The first link will just take you straight to TruPlay. If you want to download it, you'll get 7 days for free, so you can at least try it out. And then I'm going to put one more link in the chat. This is a giveaway form. So if you fill this out, Jeff will get to this on Monday. Is that fair, Jeff? So on Monday, he'll check it out, and he's going to give away one subscription, 1 annual. Is that what you're doing? So fill it out, and then he's going to pick one person to win. Okay, so I just put that in there. So that second link, like I said, is to the giveaway form. But the first link, if you click that, you can at least, in the meantime, download it, try it out. Completely risk-free. If you do decide to purchase it, which it's more than just getting access to this. You're actually supporting and helping a Christian business continue to further reach more people. In my honest opinion, I don't even believe this is an opinion, I believe this is a fact, is you're sowing more into the kingdom and what's kingdom work that's taking place here by contributing to TruPlay. And it's more than just, you know, like I said, getting access to this, but it is totally worth it. I don't know if we mentioned, I think I put it in the chat, but if you do get TruPlay, it's one subscription is good on 10 devices, and each device gets unlimited profiles. So like I said, one subscription you can have on 10 different devices, you'll have access to it. But then on each device, if let's say you have one tablet and you have 3 kids, you could have 3 different profiles on that one tablet, so they're not getting in the way of each other's like game progress and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it's really truly affordable, and even if you buy one subscription and you only have 3 kids, but they have cousins that want to try it out, you know, you could they could get access to and stuff. So honestly, guys, this is a game-changing app. Like, it's a life-changing app if we're being honest. It's truly making a big impact. And I don't even know. I feel like we've said everything about it that can be said, but I just love to emphasize on how important it is for our kids to continue to be exposed to the things of the Lord. As we know in scripture, it says, do not be conformed to the patterns of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind, so that way you can discern the good and perfect will of God. So imagine if your kids are already having their mind renewed at such young ages to be able to discern the will of God for their life, because they're familiar with the principles and the values of the Lord, instead of conforming to the patterns of this world, right? And so it's just so important what they're doing. And then to bring up your point about ages, 4 to 14, right? Is that window? That's what you said? That goes along with
really
Proverbs,
great
where
for the whole family, like there's plenty of adults that play some of the games too, because there's
yeah.
there. But yeah, 4 to 14, you're covered.
Yeah. So, but 4 to 14, my point with that is that age is so important for your kids to continue a relationship with the Lord, because scriptures tells us that if you train your kids up in the way that they should go, when they're old, they won't depart from it. So the science always backs up scripture 100% of the time. And there it is again, backing up scripture. So this is good for adults. It's good for everyone. But obviously with a target of kids, it's critically important for, I think, their walk with Christ, based on the alternatives. Like, it's either you have the enemy attacking them through all sorts of toxicness, or you have something like TruPlay that is actually bringing the light right to their screen. And yeah, I just love what TruPlay is doing. That is why they're here. That's why I work with them, because I truly believe in what they're doing. I mean, I want more kids to know Jesus at the end of the day. Like, it's that simple. And this is a major way that can be possible. But yeah, I mean, I just want to thank everyone for, if you stuck around or if you're just hopping in, thank you for joining us. And I don't know if there's any questions. The chat has been very active, so thank you guys for, continuing to talk in the chat here and ask questions. I don't think there's any questions, just kind of some dialogue here, but overall, very positive response from what I've seen. So glad that you guys are all here. Thank you, Jeff, for taking the time, and thank you for what you guys are doing over there at the end of the day. I do appreciate it. I'm not just saying that because we're on live and it's the right thing to say. Like, I genuinely appreciate what you guys are doing. I think it's really impacting kids.
Thank you. Yeah, we're happy to do it. We love what we're doing, and we want to do more of it. I'd like, Cliff, I need you to give me permission on camera, on recorded camera, to use the phrase that you said, because I'm going to use it in marketing messaging, right? Not just game changing, life changing. It's really what it is. I think
Great. It's kind of funny because I didn't mean it really as a pun when I said game changing either, because it's games obviously, but as I was saying it, then I was like, no, this is life changing. This is, so absolutely. I'm going to put the links in the chat one more time. First one is to just download TruPlay. You can try it 7 days for free, like I said. So there's no risk there. Second one is the giveaway. So feel free to put your information in the giveaway, and Jeff will pick somebody on Monday and shoot you an email, and you can get a year subscription for free. So
sometimes
glory
I pick
to
more
God.
than one person. Wink, wink.
Oh, he might pick more than one person, so don't miss out on the opportunity. And then, I will say too, I did just do a live stream. You can go back on my channel. You'll have to skip through the part where you can't hear me. I apologize about that, but skip to the gameplay. I'm actually playing King David's Battles on TruPlay, and then at the end, I kind of go through the app a little bit. So you guys can actually check out some live gameplay. I will do more of those. I don't have a schedule or anything, so you'll just kind of have to hopefully see it. But they'll always still be on my channel, so you can go back right now and at least see King David's battle being played, actual live gameplay. You'll see, there's Bible verses throughout it and whatnot. So go check that out if you guys are interested in seeing more gameplay on it. But other than that, did you have anything else, Jeff? And sorry too, we did go a little over time than I expected, but.
Yeah, I talk too much, but I'm very grateful for the time you've given me, and thanks for having me on the show.
Yeah, of course, Jeff. Well, thank you, everyone. God bless you all. And yeah.